3, 2, 1.
What's up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture. June 14th, 2019. Is Bitcoin getting ready to make a massive move to the upside through $9,000? More importantly, or prominently, through $10,000? That's a question we're going to explore in this video. We're going to do it from a technical analysis point of view. Let's jump into the video and talk about it. First of all, I just want to point your attention to this area yesterday that I did. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here because I did a video on this yesterday. But this swing low in the last bear market to swing high in this previous bull market, the 786 line to the 618 line, right? It's a huge area that we talk about, 786, 618. Now, we went through the cycles of Bitcoin. We saw this line throughout other bear markets and other swing lows, and we see this 618 line here at the top proving to be a really good area where we either see resistance to the upside or we really see the bulls stepping in and really kind of the beginning of a true bull market, right? For Bitcoin, that was the week of May 23rd, 2016. You see it shooting up, coming back down for support, and just continuing up. Right now, that line is around $7,600. Just wanted to lay that out there for reference. $7,600 on this chart is this white line right here, just so you have kind of a reference point of what we're looking at on the screen. $7,600. Now, let's talk about from a pattern perspective what's going on the daily chart. If you missed my videos talking about this busted rising wedge that we had back in April to May, we have these higher highs back here, right? Higher lows, and we had a false breakout to the downside, right? We probably traded under there for 5 or 6 days before actually breaking back up through the lower trend line here. And really, this is the first part of the confirmation for a busted rising wedge. And then we had a really bullish breakout. Busted rising wedge confirmed to the upside. Bitcoin, breaking through, $7,000 and kind of on its way up. And we fall into this new rising wedge again, right? And then again, we fall through the bottom trend line of that wedge on June 3rd, 2019. Like, what was that? 11 days ago. And now we've fallen into another rising wedge. We have all these rising wedges, and what we're trying to do is see if the bulls are really going to step in to this environment of Bitcoin where patterns, especially bearish patterns, don't really matter as much, right? We know rising wedges break to the downside more often than not, but you can see when the bulls are stepping in what happens. Those rising wedges, confirmations to the downside, get busted. So on this large rising wedge that we have here, we've come to the downside, and right now we're seeing if we can revisit that lower trend line and break that rising wedge. So we're really looking at that $9,000 area as of today. At the very least, this is the bottom trend line of that wedge. $9,000 is what we're looking at. It's only around that's $600 away from where we are right now. That can happen very quickly. And I want to also draw your attention to this line I have here. This line is pretty much, this one that I'm moving around is non-existent. This is something I wanted to share with you. This is something I do in my own time, usually when I'm charting. I always chart patterns that don't exist yet. I'm always trying to anticipate things happening that really aren't happening yet, right? So what would resistance at $9,000 look like? Well, we first have that swing high that we had back here, May 30th. If we get a resistance here, $9,000 or even say $8,900, we'd be forming essentially a lower high, right? And say we get resistance and we come back down and we see some support down here around $8,000. Well, then we have a really bullish pattern in formation, which is a symmetrical triangle. And that's something that I'm looking for right now. Can we form within these patterns of rising wedges, these bearish patterns, might we form a bullish pattern that might require a little bit more patience for us to see upside? Something I'm looking for. Putting that aside, whether or not something like that forms, what can we look for to the upside? Well, right now we can go to the 4-hour to get a sense of that. So 4-hour chart, want to just show you the RSI real quick. This momentum oscillator, slower moving momentum oscillator. Currently just above 70, right in the middle of my screen here. You see that. You might be thinking, man, we're really approaching that overbought area. I don't think we're going to really see much upside, at least on the short term today. But I just want to just show you something. When we had this bullish breakout back in May, right? And we can really specifically see the date right around May 9th here. Where was the RSI then, right? The RSI was actually right around the same area, around the 70 line. And what did Bitcoin do? Bitcoin saw some ridiculous gains, even with the 4-hour being there. We can even take this swing low, actually, right here on May 9th, to even this swing high, 26% to the upside. We got a little bit consolidation, and if you want to take it further, we can say around 40% to the upside. And that is pretty much with the RSI, slower moving momentum oscillator, right around 70 on the 4-hour chart. So you really want to find other data points in Bitcoin that suggests that just because we're approaching overboughts doesn't mean that Bitcoin doesn't have a ton of ways to grow, right? So just to give you a sense of what that last move looked like in May 9th, 40% to the upside right now. We're talking right around 11,800, 25% to the upside, just over 10,000. So there is room to the upside, right? There definitely is. From a pattern perspective, what we're looking at right now is this upper trend line in this smaller rising wedge. It's something we've been tracking, and it really is kind of this formation that is in play, which is really giving us that question of, is Bitcoin going to really test the bottom trend line of this larger rising wedge, right? And kind of break through to the upside. That's what I'm looking for. The other thing on the 4-hour that I'm really looking for is this 50 moving average. Are we going to get a 50 moving average cross above the 200 moving average? That would be very bullish to me. The first step in the right direction. Right now, Bitcoin has been making some moves since the swing low June 9th. So in the last 5 days, Bitcoin has kind of seen some upwards momentum, right? We're talking around 12% or so. So that's definitely a step in the right direction. This is what I'll be watching. It's the 4-hour chart, this upper trend line of this rising wedge. I want to see if we can get a breakout to its target at the very least, to around $8,900, just below $9,000. What will happen at that point if we do get a breakout? It could happen very quickly, or we just get this higher high, right? Or this higher high right now in this wedge, and we come back down, and we're either, we're testing like this area, the 200 moving average, 50 moving average on the 4-hour chart, and we're pretty much creating a higher low at that point, down around $7,900, $8,000. Which way is this going to break? Time will tell. There's nobody that has the answer. All we can do is watch and be prepared for anything. Thank you so much for coming by. I really appreciate you. If you're here and you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you as part of the channel. I will see you all in the next video. Have a great day, and God bless.